Good afternoon from the Skyline Studios high above Cape Coral here in sunny Southwest Florida. We've got music, we've got sunshine, and some great conversation with my guest, Mike Imbasciani. I'm Ken Ullman, and this is the Endless Summer Podcast. All right, so here at the Endless Summer Podcast, we talk about music, the restaurant, the bar scene, and other local happenings in the Cape Coral, Fort Myers, Punta Gorda area. But mostly, we want to tell the stories of the singers and the songwriters and the musicians that make Southwest Florida a great place to hear live music and some very talented people. So before we get into our conversation with our guest, Mike Imbasciani, a big shout out to our sponsor, Rumrunners. Located right here in Cape Harbor at the southern tip of Cape Coral, great waterfront views, live music 7 days a week, tasty drinks, friendly staff, and best of all, awesome food. They're open every day from 12 noon, and if you stop in, I promise you will not be disappointed. All right, so living in Southwest Florida is really like being in an endless summer. And with that comes great live music, which brings me to today's guest, Mr. Mike Imbasciani.
How are you, sir?
Welcome, sir.
Thank you.
Good to have you. Yeah, absolutely. I'm so happy to have you here. I heard Mike play for the first time probably a month ago. I still can't get over it, but I was just really happy that he decided to come and join us here at the podcast. So tell me, you've been obviously, like I said, we'll talk a little bit more about that amazing guitar playing. But when did you start, and how did you sort of get your start?
Well, I started playing when I was 5. Wow. I've been playing professionally since I was 11.
Wow.
I'm 26 now. At the end of November, I'll be 27, and I started with a lot of Beatles and Bob Dylan music, and I listened to a lot of the music growing up because it was the music my dad listened to, and so my parents have always had that good influence of listening to good music.
Yeah, good music. Yeah.
So, and from that, I originally wanted to play the drums, but I started with guitar instead when I was 5. Like I said, when I was 7, I got a drum kit and kind of was always surrounded by the music. Okay. But then decided I wanted to pursue it more as a guitar player and singer. And so when I was about 7, 8 years old in Punta Gorda, it still goes on to today, but it went on well before me as well. But at Gilchrist Park in downtown Punta Gorda, they do the Guitar Army every Thursday night, where a bunch of guys sit in a circle and play songs. Yeah, and for me, it was the perfect opportunity to learn a song, get out and play in front of an audience. Without the stress and the pressure of being by myself, being surrounded by musicians, it allowed me to be able to play with other musicians and not feel so alone with it, and get that good reinforcement to help me want to continue to do it. Gotcha. And you're not quite a native Floridian, but you almost are. I'm pretty close. I mean, I love the joke. Nobody grows up in Florida unless you're an orange. That is good. I like that. But I was born in upstate New York, but I've been in Florida in Port Charlotte since I was 5. So I'm a Floridian. But every now and then I've had enough friends from New York that the New York accent still comes out just a little bit, just enough that they know I'm not a real Floridian. There aren't many, and we're batting 1,000 on the podcast. So far, I haven't had a single fully native Floridian on the podcast. I have met quite a few, which is nice, but that is kind of cool. Everybody's from somewhere else. And so you've been playing out, in a sense, professionally since 11? Since I was 11, yeah. Wow. So I started as a solo, and I would play to backup tracks or where I would still play electric and solo and stuff and get better with that and play blues music, but. From 11 till about 14 was all solo. When I was 14, I started my band, Mike Imbasciani and his BluezRockerz. And then when I was 16, I switched everything over from solo to the band all the time. Oh, okay. And you focused on, I noticed when I was listening to you guys focused definitely on the blues, right? And where did that influence come from? Same thing, just the stuff you listened to when you were young? The stuff I listened to, and then, when I would listen to the Beatles and Bob Dylan, my dad would also listen to Eric Clapton and Cream. I mean, he grew up with Cream and Jimi Hendrix in college. I did too. Yeah. And I was homeschooled my whole life, and I really enjoyed history. So when I would do my music lessons and learn new songs, I would also like to look into the history of these songs. So
Okay,
when,
okay.
Cream is playing Crossroads, it's not their song, it's Robert Johnson's song.
Robert Johnson's song. That's right. That's right.
So,
See, only true musicians would know that, right? Robert Johnson's song. Yeah.
So I would take that information and kind of go back and look into where did these songs come from?
Originate.
And where did they originate from? And you'd find out about the old timer, the blues musicians like Robert Johnson, and then you listen to B.B. King and Freddie King and all of those guys, and that would translate into, okay, who's doing it now? And now I play some Kenny Wayne Shepherd songs and stuff like that. So I like how it all circles together.
And what about your guitar lessons and things like that? You taught yourself, or
No, I've had quite a few teachers over the years. And
Okay.
each teacher kind of gave me something different and helped me with soloing over the years as I got better. And then it's repetition and
repetition.
You meet other players and everybody steals everything from everybody. So you gain inspiration from everybody.
Yes. It's called mirroring.
Yes. I really like that. I'm going to cover that.
Yes, I call it mirroring. But you play. I know you play both solo, rhythm, and you sing as well. You started singing at a young age as well, and just kind of came along with the guitar thing.
It was kind of funny when I was younger, maybe 7 or 8 or so. I was in a band with my friends and my guitar teacher at the time, and we had a band. And my buddy didn't want to sing. The bass player we had didn't want to sing, so it kind of just fell onto me. Like I had to be the one to do it. And so I was like, all right, fine. And then obviously that it was the best decision I could make, because now I do it all the time. But especially if you're going to be the band leader, you want to
absolutely. Absolutely. Player, so. And I know you play locally, because I saw you at the High Tide Social House. Where else do you play around here, and then where else do you go?
Well, I live in Port Charlotte, so it allows me to have a nice bubble that I can travel around. I mean, for years and years and years, I played at Bert's in Matlacha. And since I was 12 years old, I played at Bert's.
I never knew that.
That was my home club for the longest time, and unfortunately, obviously, we're right around the anniversary of Hurricane Ian here. It got destroyed by the hurricane. There's hopes that it will be rebuilt. I don't know. We'll see what happens. But
I passed it the other day. It's
they still need to finish clearing the area.
Yeah, they're still not cleared the area. And funny, we played steadily at the Hooked Island Grill, right across the street. And I mean, they're both hopefully Southwest Florida Strong will come back, and we'll get that Matlacha section straightened out eventually.
Definitely.
What about other areas? You go to other cities and play too,
right? So in Cape Coral, I played Stevie Tomatoes as well, and but being in Port Charlotte, I play the Twisted Fork, which is attached to Bert's Black Widow Harley Davidson there.
Okay.
I play at Leroy's in Punta Gorda.
Oh, okay.
I play in Fort Myers, Cape Coral. Every now and then I'll play in Naples. Like coming up, I'm playing over at Tin City for one of the festivals they do down there.
Okay.
At the end of October. And then I'll play north. I'll play in Englewood. I'll play in Venice. I've played in Sarasota.
Yeah, I was going to say, you probably go up to that way. It's really not that far from Sarasota, Englewood.
Well, and that's what's nice about Port Charlotte. When I'm an hour away from down here, I'm an hour away from up there. So it allows me to really bounce around where I need to go.
Gotcha. So what got you started? I'm a Strat guy too, so I have their way. So what got you started on the Strats and versus something else?
My first guitar was a Strat.
Oh, okay.
I still have it. And people have always talked about, because I do a little teaching myself as well, but people are always surprised when they ask me, and it says, "This is my opinion, strictly my opinion. Should be taken as such." I've always said it's easier to learn if there's. I'll talk to parents and they'll be like, "Oh, well, my kid has an acoustic guitar, but he never wants to play it." Well, the reason why he never wants to play it is the body is big, the neck is wide, the strings are the strings are too heavy.
Yep.
So I've always said the Fender Stratocaster, again, my opinion, folks, for all the musicians out there watching who are Les Paul fans, and I own Les Pauls as well. The Fender Stratocaster, to me, is the best designed guitar ever made. It's comfortable. They sound good. You can modify it whatever way you want to.
That's true. That's true.
My number one Strat that I play has been modified so much that the only thing original is the body and the paint.
Oh wow!
This is stock, but it has so much versatility that I've always loved them.
And how many do you have?
Well, I just went to Las Vegas back in August, and I bought a 2006 Gibson Custom Shop 355 BB King Lucille model.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
I saw that on, you posted that. Yeah.
And that was number 27.
Oh, my goodness. See, I thought I had a lot with 9.
Yeah.
I was like,
But I have 10 Strats, so.
Oh, you do have 10 Strats?
10
Wow.
Strats, and then everything else.
And is this the one you play out, or?
Yeah, this is number 2. So this is a Corey Wong signature model.
Okay.
And it's actually slightly shrunk, ever so slightly, but it's got a nice sound to it. I love it.
And the other one I saw you playing was more of a lighter colored one.
It's a Silver Sparkle.
That's it.
And that's
Silver
my number
Sparkle.
1 Strat.
Okay, that's your number 1 Strat.
And that's the one that's very modified.
What about your amp setup on the stage and everything? I saw you guys had a great setup on the side playing.
Yeah.
What do you use as far as your primary amp?
My amp that I use is a 1969 Fender Twin Reverb. Again, Fender.
Yeah.
That was taken out of the original cabinet and put into a head unit, rebuilt by a guy named Mike Skaggs, which anybody who needs amp work or getting an amp built, the number 2 amps.com. Fantastic. I love him. He does a great job.
Wow.
He rebuilt this twin for me, hand-wired, point-to-point, rewired like a 1964 twin, and then he put that into a head unit for me. Because I used to play
Okay.
I used to play it through a 412 cabinet.
Right.
Like the Marshall half stack.
Oh,
look.
yeah.
Yeah. And then I realized, it's a little much. So I put it back. I play it through the 212 cabinet. That was the cabinet it came out of, actually.
Wow. Yeah. And you, I noticed, I mean, you had some pedals, but it didn't look like it was overkill or anything.
People look at it and they look at it like it's overkill because it's all the lights flashing and everything.
Maybe that's me from not thinking it was overkill. Yeah.
But I use a lot of Walrus audio stuff.
Audio.
They're made in America, made in Oklahoma, and fantastic people to deal with. And to me, they're like, can't beat made in America. You know, they don't break like Boss pedals would break all the time. But again, strictly my opinion. I know how these things work.
Yeah, absolutely.
But because I play through a twin, twins are very clean amps. I mean, it's 85 watts. People look at them and they go, they're so heavy and they're so loud. I'm like, I run mine on 4. It's on volume. It's on 4. But I like it clean so that I can stack my overdrives so that I retain complete control over how much it's driving out.
I gotcha.
So that way it's not that way it's not going too far too fast and it sounds crunchy and it gets too dirty that way, and so that way I can have a nice, because I'll play folk songs on this guitar.
Right.
And all I have to do is turn off my overdrive and just play through it clean. And with the reverb, with the band, it sounds nice and full. I don't need an acoustic guitar.
And that's the beauty of it, right?
And then I can stack my 3 overdrives on and get that gritty Gary Clark Jr. kind of almost fuzz-driven sound without having a fuzz pedal.
Nice. Yeah, I mean, your sound was awesome when I heard you guys. I mean, it was obviously fine-tuned, to the point where it really came across well.
A lot of time.
Yeah.
It takes a lot of time.
I'm sure.
Dialing it all in.
So what do you practice every day pretty much? You just work?
No, I should, but I don't. But I mean, especially before the hurricane, I was playing 4 to 5 to 6 nights a week.
Wow.
So, when you're playing that much and
It gives you a chance to practice in a sense when you're playing that much, obviously. And everybody, we joke about Florida being a side hustle state. Everybody in Florida has some kind of side hustle, or the music is the side hustle. In this case, it's your career, obviously. But you also have a podcast,
I have a podcast called The Imbasciani Chronicles.
Okay.
And I started that during COVID because, I mean, everybody was out of work. So it was an opportunity for me to have conversations with my friends who are across the country, all musicians that when normally we're all so busy we can't talk to each other. But with COVID, we were able to actually sit down and have a conversation. What are you doing? Nothing. What are you doing? Nothing.
Nothing.
Because there's no gigs.
Yeah.
But I've been able, it's slowed down a little bit just now because the gigs are back and we're staying so busy. But I like it. I also have a lot of friends who are comedians who tour the country. So I'm able to sit down with them when they pass through town or when they have a minute. We do it virtually and
do a pod.
It's fun to have a conversation.
And you also do you play outside of the state?
I have, I've played in Nashville, at BB King's, which isn't there anymore. I've played at Tootsie's and a couple other places, like in downtown Nashville. I've played a little bit in Texas, like in Austin and Dallas, but it wasn't something that was always that feasible, because when you're talking about the travel and all of that, you might as well just stay here.
You know, I have a very good friend who's a phenomenal bass player, and he got offered a position one time, way back when, with the guy Jerry Reed.
Oh, yeah.
Right? And he did the numbers, and it just didn't work out.
Yeah.
So it wasn't really all that lucrative to be in. Not as much as it sounds, you know.
And not as much as it used to be. I mean, you talk to some people, you would have to do that.
Right.
You'd have to travel around.
Right.
And there's the festival circuit and certain things. But I think there comes something when you're able, like I've been around this area a long time. I have a reputation.
Right, so you have a reputation around here.
Yeah.
Absolutely. What about, in a sense, you're young, obviously, 26 you said, right? Yeah, so what about aspirations? I mean, you know, someone like yourself with your guitar playing skills, I would think in Nashville you could maybe earn a living, you know, but then again, not everybody wants to be a studio musician.
Well, and you would have to be doing that.
Right.
Because the musicians that I've met in Nashville are incredible. They're young, they're hungry, they're incredible musicians playing, 4 hours straight for tips.
Right. Yeah, see, that's the thing. I mean, you obviously would hold your own against any of them, but I know that that's not always something that you want to do, you know, like
right, and that's why, like around here, like I said, I've built the fan base of fans that are genuinely wonderful, nice people. Many of them have become very close friends, family friends now, and it's nice to have that. It's nice to have that camaraderie of fans that will come and see me and the band all the time. I treat it like a family, and it's nice to have those regular steady gigs that you do every month. And to me, it comes to the point where there's a difference between being famous and being successful. I've said it a lot of times.
That's a great way to put it. Yeah,
and
absolutely.
To me, I know I'm still young, but I want to be able to have a family and continue to have my career and always be able to be comfortable.
Right.
With that and being able to make money and have it continue to be my career.
Well, in a sense, you got to be careful with that. You do have to have maybe that side hustle or something else these days, because you just never know. When the government tells you you're non-essential. Yeah, well, there you go. Yeah, that's true. That's a good point, right? As a musician, right? So, no, and it's good. It's good. It's always good to have that side hustle. Maybe do some of those other things that obviously can make you income. I always had a backup career, or I should say a career, and music was the hobby part. But I will say I'm having more fun now than I ever had in my life. I play in a duo. We have a blast. We love what we do.
Well, and at the end of the day, music is a powerful thing.
It is.
And it's a healing thing. It's good for people. And when it's fun like that, what do you say? You have fun. You don't work a day in your life. There's ups and downs. No matter what.
Oh, absolutely.
But at the end of the day, we're still lucky to have this as our job.
Right, our job.
I know every day I'm very lucky to do this, especially coming out of COVID, coming out of the hurricane. I mean, I lost a lot of venues from the hurricane.
Oh, I'm sure.
And they've been coming back now. I've been able to gain new venues. But there was a moment there, I'll be honest, you have the mentality of, what are you doing this for?
Right.
Why do you do it? And I was saying that to myself just because things were difficult and everybody's going through difficult times, especially at that moment. And you remind yourself that you do it for yourself because you do enjoy it and you do enjoy playing the music. But then when you're in that environment that, especially after the hurricane, I saw this so much. The people that went through those hardships too lost their houses. In some cases, still we're a year later. There are still people that don't have a house, don't have a roof. I see the blue tarps everywhere.
Oh, absolutely.
And when they take the time out of their day to come to a show, that's why you do it.
And that's why you do it. You're absolutely right. And it's not what you do, it's who you are. I saw something the other day about a meme or something like that, but it's just being a musician is not really what you do, it's who you are.
Yeah, right.
And I know, it's in our blood. I'll do it till I can't anymore, and that's one of those things. I wouldn't do a regular job till I can't anymore. I'll do it. No. And if they didn't pay me, I wouldn't do it.
Exactly.
But I'll play music occasionally for charity events and stuff.
Right.
You don't have to get paid. I'm just happy to play. So.
Oh, yeah.
Speaking of playing, we have got a treat for you today because you are going to get to hear this young man play guitar. And I'll tell you what, you're going to love it. So we'll be right back. We're going to do a little song for everybody. Mike, what's the song we're going to play?
This song, it's called Too Many Cars in the Driveway. It was written by a Fort Myers local. He passed away a couple years ago. His name is Burnell Caldwell. He was a fantastic saxophone player. I got to play with him a couple times. He looked like the Shock Top logo.
With the hair.
Yeah, this huge afro mohawk that was fantastic. He was a fantastic player, great guy. We miss him dearly. But he wrote this song called called Too Many Cars in the Driveway.
Too Many Cars in the Driveway.
It's a blues song that it's fun to listen to. I get requests for it, even though I play it every gig anyway. People always ask for it because it's just a it's funny, it's fun, and it's a great blues song.
Awesome. So, Too Many Cars in the Driveway. Here we go.
1, 2, 3. I get up at dawn every single day. Gotta go to work so I can make my pay. The boss goes home at noon. Everybody says the boss goes home too soon. I got myself a stomachache right around 2 p.m. Little did I know, I just didn't know. So when my blues was about to begin, 'cause there was too many cars parked in my driveway. Ran up my stairs real fast. Before I could put my key in my door, you know what I saw? Saw my boss and my girlfriend rolling around on the floor. I hopped back in my car and I drove to the other side of town. I got real drunk. I had to turn my car around, 'cause there was too many cars parked in my driveway. What could I say? Figured I'd have that sucker towed away. I reached in my back pocket, I found a card. The card said AAA. Now I had to find myself a payphone, so I drove to the other side of town. I got real drunk. I had to turn my car around. Myself a shotgun, here we go. I didn't need no AAA. And
Mr. Mike Imbasciani, All right, so we hope you all enjoyed that. Nothing like hearing some blues and nothing like hearing Mike here play guitar. So we really appreciate him coming on and playing today. So you're out there on Facebook, on Instagram at MikeImbasciani.com as a website.
Yeah, that's the whole website with the full schedule.
Right, with the full schedule. What about local places? You got Stevie Tomatoes?
Stevie Tomatoes, and then of course if you're in Port Charlotte, Punta Gorda, Leroy's or the Twisted Fork. And then I also have my newer project, which is Simply Clapton, Eric Clapton tribute show that I do. That'll be actually a show coming up tomorrow, October 3rd, over at Vasani in Port Charlotte. It's the Castle on Kings Highway. It's a dinner package show. People get dinner in the show, about 2 hours of Clapton music from Cream to what he's doing now, and it's so much fun doing that show. I love it.
Oh, I'm sure.
And,
I'm sure.
Tickets are available for that at vasani.net, and then you go to my website, mikeimbasciani.com, for the full rest of the show schedule.
Awesome. Well, I will be out again to see you soon because I'll tell you what, it's a pleasure hearing you play. So we'll see you in a couple of weeks with another amazing musical guest. In the meantime, big thanks to Mike Imbasciani for showing up today and having a great time with us and playing guitar, and we really appreciate it. So enjoy your endless summer here in Southwest Florida. I'm Ken Allman, and this is the Endless Summer Podcast.